the tea's gone cold. Above the London streets today, the morning fog cries out inside the places where the leeches hide.
Welcome back to the human zoo. We're proud of our traditions, our pints, our pageantry, and our proper British spirit. But some folks in history, they just couldn't stand it. Today's exhibit, the loony left's ancestors who thought joy was a sin and fun was the enemy of progress. Buckle up, we're diving into the Puritan wing, where the killjoys tried to cancel Christmas, ban dancing, and shut down the pub. Because apparently, merry England was too merry for their tastes. If it's traditional, makes people happy, and doesn't fit their utopia, ban it. Let's see how that worked out. Step into the darkness of the human zoo. Exhibit number 5. Eleanor Marx, Karl Marx's own daughter, the fiery spawn of revolutionary evil. Born to unleash chaos, she craved barricades, forbidden love, and rivers of blood, until betrayal dragged her screaming into the grave. Welcome to the cage of the Red Princess possessed. Little Tussie, the sweet kid who loved cats, grew up watching her dad's ideas spark fire. At 16, she was hooked on the Paris Commune, the bloody uprising where workers seized Paris and thousands died. She sheltered the survivors, helped write their story, and dreamed of the same violence hitting London's streets. She helped start Britain's first hardcore Marxist groups, ditched the ones that weren't extreme enough, and built the Socialist League to spark total revolution. Her wildest idea? Marriage is just chains for the rich. She preached free love like a religion, lived openly with the shady actor Edward Aveling. No wedding, no rules, all while fighting for women's rights through class war and destruction. She led the charge in the huge 1889 dock strike, organizing thousands of angry workers, rallying 100,000 in Hyde Park, demanding shorter hours as the first step to communism. On Bloody Sunday, 1887, when police charged protesters, she said something chilling. Troops shooting the crowd would be very useful to wake people up to revolution. She translated dark books, acted in plays that smashed old rules, and defended violent anarchists abroad. Chain-smoking, furious, unstoppable, a living storm. But the darkness turned on her. In 1898, the truth hit. After 14 years together, Aveling had secretly married someone else. Heartbroken, she put on her favorite white summer dress on a freezing March day, sent for poison, and drank it down. Just like the tragic heroine in Madame Bovary, the story she helped bring to England. Her skin turned blue, her eyes frozen wide. The revolution died with her. Preach heaven for the workers, but poison your own life with lies. The loony left's timeless curse. Eleanor Marx, from innocent child to apocalyptic fury, snuffed out in betrayal and despair. Arthur McManus, the Belfast-born slum child who became Britain's first communist overlord. A hardcore Bolshevik disciple, he burned for immediate violent revolution in the 1920s, until sickness claimed him young. What a shame. Welcome to the cage of the unhinged early Red pioneer. Born in 1889 to poor Irish Catholic parents in Belfast's grim slums, young Arthur grew up amid poverty and factory grind. He shed religion early, dove into revolutionary socialism through Marxian classes, and crossed to Britain where the real fire waited. During World War I, he rose as a leader of the shop stewards movement on Clydeside. Militant workers defying the war machine, striking, agitating, pushing for control of factories and no compromise with bosses or kings. When the Russian October Revolution exploded in 1917, McManus saw the blueprint: blood, Soviets, total overthrow. He helped forge the Communist Party of Great Britain in 1920, uniting fractured radicals into one hammer, and was elected its very first chairman. From that throne, he drove the party toward pure Bolshevism. No gradual reform, no waiting for votes, immediate violent upheaval, Soviet-style power seized by workers' councils, the British state smashed. In the fevered 1920s Red Scare, amid strikes and fear of revolution, McManus agitated relentlessly. Speeches calling for armed confrontation, alliances with Moscow, purges of the soft elements. He traveled to Comintern meetings, lived the dream of world communism, even served on its executive. Chain-smoking, tireless, fanatical, a walking storm of red fury, convinced the British working class was seconds from rising in flames. But the abyss claimed its own. Health crumbling from years of hardship and relentless fight. First major breakdown in 1923, never fully recovered. He pushed on anyway. In February 1927, at just 38, influenza struck him down in London's Royal Free Hospital. He died in harness, still loyal to the cause, his body later honored in Moscow's Kremlin Wall necropolis. Preach Soviet paradise for Britain, but burn out in your own fire. The loony left's tragic curse. Annie Besant, the Victorian firebrand who changed skins like a demon. From atheist rebel to socialist agitator to occult high priestess, she chased every madness the left could dream up, until she crowned a boy as the new Messiah. Welcome to the cage of the ultimate ideological phantom. Born in 1847 to a poor Irish family, young Annie married young, lost her faith in God, and exploded into public life as a fierce atheist. In 1877, she teamed up with Charles Bradlaugh to publish a banned book on birth control, the infamous Fruits of Philosophy, sparking obscenity trials that made her a national scandal. She pivoted hard, joined the Fabians, co-wrote socialist manifestos, marched with the unemployed, and became a leading voice for gradual reform, until gradual wasn't enough. Then the real madness descended. In 1889, she met Madame Blavatsky, plunged into theosophy, secret occult wisdom, reincarnation, hidden masters, and never looked back. She abandoned socialism for mysticism, rose to lead the Theosophical Society like a cult queen, moved to India, turned fiercely anti-British Empire, and led massive independence campaigns. Her wildest act? In 1909, she discovered a 14-year-old Indian boy, Jiddu Krishnamurti, declared him the world teacher, the new Messiah, groomed him for global spiritual rule, built an entire order around him. Thousands worshipped. The boy later rejected it all in horror. Chain-smoking, eloquent, hypnotic, she shifted from birth control firebrand to socialist storm, to occult empress, to anti-imperial revolutionary, leaving chaos in every skin she shed. But the visions crumbled. Krishnamurti walked away in 1929, dissolving her grand order. Besant lived on, isolated in her Indian compound, watching her prophecies fade. She died in 1933 at 85, a legend of radical reinvention and spectacular delusion. Preach every utopia under the sun, but end up worshipping a false god you invented. The loony left's eternal curse of shape-shifting madness. Annie Besant, from Victorian rebel to Messiah maker, lost in her own occult labyrinth. Harry Pollitt, the Manchester Boilermaker turned Moscow's longest-serving British mouthpiece. A Stalin loyalist to the bone, he parroted every Kremlin command, defended the indefensible, and flipped like a coin when the orders changed. Welcome to the cage of the ultimate red puppet, dancing on strings pulled from thousands of miles away. Born in 1890 to a working-class family in Droylsden, young Harry grew up amid factory smoke and socialist pamphlets. He joined the Boilermakers Union, turned militant during World War I, and embraced Bolshevism the moment the 1917 revolution lit the sky. When the Communist Party of Great Britain formed in 1920, Pollitt plunged in head first. By 1929, he was General Secretary, a position he held for nearly 3 decades, turning the CPGB into a disciplined echo chamber of Moscow's will. He praised Stalin's 5-year plans, cheered the show trials and purges that liquidated millions, and branded Trotskyists as traitors to be crushed. Blind faith. No question too dark, no lie too big. The most infamous flip came in 1939, when Stalin signed the Hitler-Stalin Pact, carving up Poland and unleashing World War II. Pollitt obediently declared it a blow for peace, called Britain the real aggressor, and urged workers to sabotage the war effort. Newspapers screamed betrayal. Even some comrades recoiled. Then Hitler invaded the USSR in 1941. Overnight, Pollitt reversed. Now the war was sacred, the Nazis devils, Britain a heroic ally. The party lines switched, Pollitt switched. No shame, no apology, just total obedience to the Kremlin switchboard. Gravel-voiced, tireless on platforms, he lived the double life, preaching workers' paradise while serving a dictator's terror machine. He visited Moscow, bowed to Stalin, returned to Britain to enforce the latest directive: purges, zigzags, silence on atrocities. The strings finally slackened. In 1960, after a lifetime of devotion, heart disease took him at 69. His ashes rest in Golders Green. No Kremlin wall for Britain's faithful servant. Preach Soviet utopia, but sell your soul to a tyrant and flip when he says so. The loony left's eternal curse of blind loyalty. Harry Pollitt, from Boilermaker rebel to Stalin's perfect puppet, cut loose only by death. Jerry Healey, the Irish-born Trotskyist who built Britain's most terrifying far-left cult. A paranoid dictator in a red tie, he ruled the Workers' Revolutionary Party like a personal fiefdom of fear, violence, and violation, until the walls came crashing down in 1985. Welcome to the cage of the authoritarian madhouse, where revolution became rape and purges became terror. Born in 1913 in Dublin to a poor family, Jerry Healey crossed to Britain young, joined the Trotskyist underground in the 1930s, and never looked back from his obsession with permanent revolution. By the 1950s, he had splintered off, founding the Socialist Labour League, then the Workers' Revolutionary Party in 1973, a tightly controlled machine funded by shadowy Middle Eastern money and run on fear. Healey demanded absolute loyalty, endless security checks, forced confessions, physical beatings of suspected dissidents, and ritual purges that shattered families. Dissenters were branded agents, interrogated for hours, sometimes hospitalized. The party became a closed world, members isolated from friends, spied on, controlled. His darkest secret? For decades, Healey systematically sexually abused and raped dozens of female comrades, young women drawn into the party for the cause. He used his power as leader to coerce them, late-night political discussions that turned into assaults, threats of expulsion if they spoke, a culture of silence enforced by fear. Victims later described a predator hiding behind Marxist rhetoric. He lured in celebrities, actors like Vanessa Redgrave and her brother Corin, turning them into high-profile recruiters while the abuse continued unchecked. The party newspaper Newsline churned out Healey worship, calling him the greatest living Trotskyist. The mask shattered in 1985. A group of senior members, including some abused women, broke ranks and exposed the rapes, beatings, and cult control in an open letter. The scandal exploded. The WRP fractured, Healey was expelled, fled to Ireland briefly, then lived out his days in isolation. He died in 1989 at 76. No redemption, no apology, just the ruins of a movement he poisoned. Preach workers' liberation, but enslave and violate your own followers. the loony left's ultimate curse of power turned predatory. Jerry Healey, from revolutionary firebrand to cult grapist and tyrant, unmasked and broken. And there you have it, folks, the Human Zoo's rogues gallery of Britain's maddest lefties. From Tussie the cat girl begging for Paris-style bloodbaths, to Annie crowning a random kid as the new messiah, to Healey turning his party into a grape cult nightmare, to Pollitt flipping faster than a Kremlin weather vane, to McManus burning out young for a revolution that never came. These aren't just historical oddballs, they're the ancestors of today's loony left. The same DNA. If it's fun, traditional, or makes ordinary Brits happy, ban it, smash it, rewrite it, or declare it fascist. They preach utopia while their own lives collapse in hypocrisy, betrayal, and pure chaos. Centuries later, same script, different costumes. Still raging against the pint, the pub, the flag, the family, the fun. Still convinced the revolution's just one more protest away. Still mental as ever. But guess what? Merry England keeps dancing. The maypoles still spin. The monarchy still waves. And the British people? We're still here, laughing at the cage. Proud of the real Britain, the one they keep trying to cancel? Smash that like button, subscribe before they rewrite history again, and I'll see you next time for more exhibits of left-wing lunacy. Stay savage, stay British, and keep the zoo gates locked tight.